point, there's a possibility I don't know how to tune a guitar anymore.
The process for every song is a little bit different, and how the lyrics come out is always a little bit different. Sometimes it would just be as simple as at a restaurant, sitting with a group of people, I need to run to the bathroom real quick to record a little snippet into my phone, or sometimes it's just in conversation with someone and they say something or they're telling you a story and you pull out your phone, they think you're like texting or tweeting or something, but you're just taking a little note to remind yourself of the conversation you had. This album's a little bit different. What I've been writing for this album is a little bit different, and I'll explain. So this album's going to be about stuff that happened about 4 years ago, and some things that are just now happening, and some things that are have happened to other people, different stories that we've heard. But a lot of this stuff is going to be set about 4 years ago, and 4 years ago, by the time this comes out, probably 5 years ago, my dad died. And I remember that it was cold. I remember certain details, that it was cold, that I was sleeping. I was spending the night with my nephew Harrison. We were in an RV, the RV that we toured in back in the day. We were spending the night in it because we had a full house of people that were there with my dad at the end. And I got out of the RV and I walked into the house and I just looked, and I remember thinking that the chair that he had had for like 20 years was empty. But all of the memories of his time were like clinging onto this thing like smoke on clothes. Like, then I remember like walking into the room where he was and the smell of it, and just the experience of seeing a lifeless body. But I think I had to wait 4 years to be in a place to be able to really honestly say what I was thinking, what I was feeling, those different experiences as like a 24, 25-year-old, experiencing all that. And now 4 or 5 years later, now I can write about it. Now I can dive into what that was like and what the experience was like and what the thoughts were and the feelings were. Because I do think that you have to distance yourself from things like that before you can really give an honest telling of it. Just because the emotion of it all, the feeling of that happening, those feelings are so amplified and so turned up that it's hard to get honest with just processing it. So we put out an album in between that event and now called Kingdom. And on Kingdom, there was just a lot of things that kind of like bookmarked that period of time, kind of leaving things behind and moving on, and shake the dust. And Kingdom, just about how you can't even take those things through this portal, from this life to the next. You can't take anything with you. It's as beautiful as a funeral of someone who died of old age after living a long life well, left the story a better page, forced myself to reconsider all the things I've known. Don't recognize your clothes, you barely recognize yourself. Did someone replace your things? Or are you the one that's changed? In truth, I can't decide if people change or remain the same, or what's inside is so stained that the filler needs to be drained. If seeing is believing, I don't believe. I'm a blind man without you. If feeling is believing, I don't feel. Are you unreal or true? I am in motion, you are static. If I feel far away, I've moved. Pretty much just straight lyrics. that I don't know where they're gonna go. I don't even know if that'll end up on a record. Usually it's like cut, paste, days of writing from this thought and that thought and this other thought come together into one semi-coherent thought. A big theme of this record is going to be how quickly, things are moving. I feel like I blinked and 10 years went by. I was just 18. I was just, going to college. I was just like going on tour. I was just all these things, and just the speed of life, how quickly life moves, and how if you're not like actually intentionally trying to live each day, time's gonna move fast regardless of your intentional or unintentional living. So it just kind of makes sense for it to be spent well. It's the only currency that we all have in equal proportion.